You for joining us on this wonderful day for us. As we want to start, before we welcome our executive director, I want to take this opportunity to recognize each and every one of you for playing a role in where we are and how far we have come as an organization. That's the Institute for Social Accountability. Some of you have walked this journey with us, specifically on the project that has contributed to us being here today. There are those of you who worked various parts with us and are still here on this day. I am struggling to see the person at the back. I can see laptops. Are we together or we are on meetings with our earphones? Can we be together, please? So that as we start, we are able to move forward together and understand what we are here to do. Much of what we are here to do today will be spoken about later, but I want to recognize those who I was able to capture their names earlier on. We'll start with our Mr. Joseph Kimani from Embassy of Denmark. We will go to Oliver from Uraia Trust, and I can see other Uraia staff members here. I have recognized IPF. Christian 8, I think she's the only person who came and I didn't see her. We have Tisa Kenya here, who have been our long-standing partners. Katiba Institute, the Office of the Auditor General. I believe we have someone from the Attorney General's office. We have our grassroots partners. Wangapi wako huku grassroots partners? Bunge Mashinani, have Hummingbird, and then we have our traders. Traders hoye. Si tumefika? Yes. Na tuko hapa kujirepresent, sio? Yes. So as we start, I want to see all of us contribute to the discussion and see how we can make this country a better place. Thank you, Diana. Please come.
Good morning, fellow taxpayers. Good morning, fellow taxpayers. Allow me to write on the existing protocols and thank you very much to our partners. Kibali in a particular way because the work of writing that we have continued to work on social accountability is yours. My apologies very, very much for coming in late, and my colleague Alex. I don't know what has happened this week. The government imetuwekea certain things that we are trying to follow and track as part of social accountability. So we decided to all start in breakfast meetings na zikachelewa, and we sincerely apologize for that. Please accept our apologies. But I'm here to tell you about the study that we are launching. A number of you mulikuwa hapa and you helped us validate, you challenged us, and you informed us what we want to do. But what we are doing today is looking into the history, the culture, the thinking, the engineering that has happened around social accountability. And what is social accountability? Social accountability is simply everybody defining what they really need, what they want from their leaders, and when it is not acceptable, doing everything they can to fight for their freedom. Did it start now? As an African people, I want to remind us, during the pre-colonial era, we had Twitter. Okay? Within the Council of Elders, across all communities. Recently, I have been in a place where Queen Mother, unajua kulikuwa na vitu kama Queen Mother, si ndio? Bibi ya kiongozi. They had a way of expressing what may have gone wrong at any given point. And I think those were the early people when there was no social media. But closer home, and why I am going to give this analogy is because we are at a time where my colleague Angela says, when the young people make cartoons, we take them to jail because we think they are offensive. But what happened during the colonial era? Was there social accountability? Was there social accountability?
Yes.
Did citizens demand better? How? They became freedom fighters. We used everything within our tradition, whether it is witchcraft or sorcery, to make sure the bullets did not get to us. And when our land was taken away, it became a bloody struggle. Okay? Are the youth using blood? No, they're just using technology to express that we deserve a better country. And these venerable figures were indeed the original influencers. And based on that, thereafter, after independence, and after people had fought so hard, you would think that our leaders would come in and take in a new script of taking us to the ultimate freedom as a nation. But unfortunately, corruption flourished, and citizens found themselves yearning for the good old days where there were council of elders. And I like to link this to taxation, because we've always had a way of doing our tax. In our African culture, Gen Z si mko hapa? So mimi ni mhenga kiasi, so I'm trying to take us back there. What used to happen as a way of taxation was whenever there was a harvest, everybody needed to contribute a certain portion of their harvest to a central place. And it would be used to run the affairs of the community. It would be used to contribute to what, to the people who didn't have. It was a way of equalization. So you gave so willingly, and when you went there, if you took millet and you found greens and you did not have, you picked, and you only picked what was enough. Those were our values, and they were very much anchored in Utu. But when that did not happen, then we had to come up with other ways. And throughout the 60s, the 70s, all the way to the 80s, when the Mwa Kenya movement emerged, you had mothers of political prisoners agitating in their own way as a form of social accountability. We had our scholars, the trade unions, and so on, agitating for multi-party democracy. Now, we have grown, and unfortunately, because of those roots, our African roots, our colonial roots, we are who we are. We are who we are. A country that is torn between that very good culture of Utu and the culture of, if I am in power, I will fight to be in power at all costs. So there is that particular clash that continues consistently. So based on that, and after we got our Constitution 2010, we put out for ourselves participation of the people in every chapter, principles of accountability in every chapter. And some of us thought, we will never be on the streets again. And if we go on the streets, it will be very easy because we have a very strong constitution. And we would have expected that when the laws were being written for the constitution, a public participation law would be the very first law that is enacted. To date, 15 years after the constitution, this country does not have a public participation law. Why? Why are the people in power uncomfortable with listening to citizens? Because we have deviated and we want to have our own priorities. But the study we are about to launch, and what you will hear today, is an inspiration that it does not matter the people who are in power. The history of social accountability and Utu is so rich that when it emerges, people just get shocked. That is why when we saw the Gen Z and how they engaged in demanding for accountability, we all wondered, where were these children? They were always there. Fellow Kenyans and taxpayers, karibuni sana, and remain inspired to know the spirit of social accountability of us knowing what we need and how we go about it is always hidden, and it needs the smallest triggers that are there within our habits, our systems, for them to come alive, and they will remain very, very much alive. Having said that, karibuni sana, and I look forward to us engaging on this report and all of us remaining as active citizens. Asante.
Thank you very much, Diana, for starting us off in that tone. As I was listening to you, I was thinking of there were cartoons that used to write, they used to scribe on the walls on how far their histories look.
For Kenya to be defined as a country that is focused on human rights, it is an aspiration. It is an aspiration because what you mean by human rights state, it is a state that cares for everybody. It is a state that refuses to say that it is progressive when any member of its society is unhappy. It is a society that says human rights must be applied for everybody. So that is something that ultimately that I think if we work towards, all of us, working towards a human rights state in Kenya, it would really help moving us forward. Because I believe with all these things that I've said, it will help us to move from the cold room of despondency, from the cold room of hopelessness, to the sunshine of hope. Is that something that is possible? Yes. Thank you very much. Asante.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are we on the sunshine side? Are we on the sunshine side? Are we there? Yes. The people uko mwisho tuko kwa sunshine side. We're on the way. I hope by the end of the day tutakuwa tumefika hiyo side, and we will live here encouraging each and every soul that we meet to join the fight on the sunny side of things, and then we live together. You're trying to provoke where I come from, but it will not show up today. So I want to welcome the next speaker, who is Dr. Oliver Waindi, and I believe he's going to take us further, closer to the sun. Karibu sana.
Salamu alaikum. Wangapi katika jukwaa hii ya leo si wa Kenya? Kwa hivyo sote tunao Kenya, sio? Naam. Lugha ya taifa ni gani? Samahani kama kufanya tamthilia. Leo hii nitazungumzia Wakenya wanaolipa kodi kwa lugha ya taifa. Diana Kashingo nimefanya makosa? Nyuma mwanisikia?
Bila samahani.
Masaa 48 yaliyopita, mimi pamoja na wengine wengi wako hapa, pamoja na ndugu yangu Kimani, tumekuwepo katika jukwaa moja tukizungumzia ufisadi. Tena hadithi ya kuzunisha sana, kwa sababu hadithi ambayo tumepata ilikuwa Jumatatu, ilikuwa kwamba kila unapokucha Wakenya wanapoteza haipungui bilioni 20, ambao ukijumuisha katika mwaka mzima bilioni 608 kupotea tu katika giza, ambao ingefika shimo lisilojulikana. Akizungumzia hamaki Uncle Kim, ni kwa sababu Kenya hii tunayo rasilimali ya kutosha sisi sote. Hatuko wengi, milioni 55 tu ndio population nzima ya Tokyo. Tena ukichanganya na labda Mexico, Kinshasa pekee kina watu milioni 30 na Cairo, Khartoum. Kwa hiyo Wakenya tuko wengi. Tena Mwenyezi Mungu katika hekima yake katubariki na rasilimali kubwa sana, ziwa, tuna bonde la ufa, tuna mito mikubwa isiyokauka, tuna milima na kuna wanyama sampuli tofauti. Lakini ya hayo yote leo hii kati ya watu milioni 55 ambao tuko nayo data ni kwamba zaidi ya 30 milioni hawajakula chochote tangu jana. Isitoshe, wanapojifungua wamama 100,500 lazima wafe Kenya hii. Bado haitoshi. Kwamba mbali na mali na rasilimali ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu katika hekima yake ametukabidhi, leo hii watoto wetu wa university hawajijui walipo. Kama umekwepa katika karne zetu ambazo tumesoma katika university, ilikuwa ni university kikuli, ambao walipwa ukila unavyotaka, ambao ulikuwa umebaki nayo tu ni kutongoza na kutongozwa. Sasa hivi watoto wetu wa university, na nimekuwa na fursa ya kufundisha part time katika university, ilikuwa ni ngumu mno, na wale ambao nyuma yao hawajijui kama shule ya msingi ama ya sekondari. Kenya hii moja, na nilivyosema Jumatatu, Kenya hii moja ndio Kenya ambao mipaka yetu iko huru kwa yeyote ambaye anataka. Tumekuwa kama pango la nyoka, aingiapo na tokapo anajisikia. Kwa hiyo watu wengine katika Kenya yetu wakaja wakatuharamisha, nilivyoona kikatokana na juzi hapa Somalia, na si jambo kubwa. Kwa sababu jambo kubwa ni kwa sababu mtu ana miaka 81 na mwingine ana miaka 61 wameshikana mikono. Kwa hiyo hii ilikuwa ni habari kubwa sana. Tunachosema leo ni kwamba kuna social accountability. Katika Kiswahili tunasema uwajibikaji wa kijamii. Imeanza kitambo sana. Kitambo hatuko na serikali sampuli hii ambayo tuko nayo leo. Kwa hiyo demokrasia yetu haikuwa ya kupiga milolongo na kuweka kura katika madeni. Ilikuwa ni uwajibikaji wa kijamii. Jamii ilikuwa inawajibika. Na tumegrow hivyo miaka yote tangu tukizaliwa mpaka leo, jamii ikiwajibika. Hujaoa, hujaolewa, walikuwa napiga mahesabu na tathmini kwa mbali, huyu ambaye mwadayana ni nani? Halo. Hivi mkiniangalia hivi, mwaniangalia kwa vile mimi ni bonzo ama kwa vile hamnielewi ama kwa vile nasema tulivyogrow sisi wakati wetu, hujaoa, hujaolewa, uwajibikaji wa jamii ililazimu kuangalia huyu ambaye atakapolewa na Oliver ni mgani. Otherwise utajikuta umeko katikati kando kaburi, wapigwa vijiti sawa ili umemchanga katika kaburi. Kwa sababu sasa hivi tunachoona ni kwamba tulipoteza that social accountability. Haipo tena. Jamani, nazungumza Kiarabu ama mwanisikia? Na ndio maana tunajikuta kama nchi tunachagua watu aidha awe ni mbunge, awe ni MCA, hata awe ni rais. Baada ya kumchagua ndio tunajikuta tunajishika utosi, tunajiuliza ilikuwaje? Nini ambayo ilituhepa tukamchagua huyu? Lakini Kenya hii tulivyo ni kwamba tunapenda sana wenye sarakasi. Kwa kina Salasia, samahani, rafiki yangu sana. Kwa hiyo hata nimetoka kuzungumza sasa hivi. Kwa hiyo rafiki yangu. Kwa hiyo mkienda sokoa huko, atakwambia pana Oliver rafiki yangu. But wajiuliza, eneo bunge nzima walikaa chini wakasema huyu mtamtaka. Alafu baadaye mwenda katika mahekalu, mwenda piga magoti, jamani, kumwomba Mungu, Mwenyezi Mungu tusaidie. Mara nyingi sana nimesema hivi, Mungu hana kura. Mimi nimepiga kura BB primary school moja, hiyo miaka 2.5 ambayo imepita. Sikumwona Mungu katika foleni. Sikumwona Mungu. Maana Mungu amekupatia hekima. Tena hiyo hekima yako ukaamua ukachukua kura. Tena picha zikapigwa pale. Hii ikapigwa ya yule bwana wa mabango yetu nani yule? Yule Mloya. Wajakuwa yuko hapo. Wabua yuko hapo. Baba yuko hapo. Ukasema wote siwataki, mimi namtaka huyu. Halafu bwana mtondogoo, Mwenyezi Mungu uokoe. Tufanya mzaha na Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa sababu tuna mitandao katika social accountability, katika wajibikaji wa jamii. Now, any other thing we don't know, because after all, Chebukati's dead. So we don't know really what happened. But the only thing we can say, the only thing we can say for sure is that one, it is not present. But the most fundamental thing is, what do we learn out of that? How do we make our country better? Yachukiza mno kuona kwamba Kenya hii